Okay, so I got a request to do an avatar, I guess, profile pic. I don't know what you call it. Um, from a fan of mine who follows who used to read. Well, I guess he must still read Earthworld, but remembers my work from Earthworld when I used to draw that comic. So let's see. Where did my headshots go? Where did my references go? I had a references thing. Window. Ah, here we go. There we go. Alright, so, yeah, so I thought I would use that to warm up for today before I get into some inking. And I have a little reference sheet called together. This is, these are photos from him, and this is a South Park version of his avatar, and then these are the two images that he thought would be fun to emulate from Earthworld. I'm gonna butcher your name. I'm very sorry, but it's spelled R-A-G-N. I'm not. I don't know how to pronounce that, so I'm not gonna. Ran. I'm gonna say Ran. Whatever. Anyway. I am not very good at portraiture, so I hope this sort of looks like him, and you'll get to see how terrible I am at portraiture. But I promised him that I would draw this thing for him, and I told him to bug the crap out of me until I actually did it. So there we go. So I'm starting off with a sketch layer like I always do. This is just to block in proportions, and since it's going to be a profile pic, I think the composition is going to be very face heavy here. So I want to kind of give him like a smirk, like a smarmy, not too smarmy. And so this is at, what am I working at? 2048 by 2048, so entirely too large. But I like to reduce my work, so I work at print resolution, and then I usually downsize it for the web. So just some. I think he wanted one version with a hat, like a party hat or something like that. So I think this is good enough in terms of placement. So it's been a while since I've done this particular style, so we'll just have to forgive me if I'm screwing it up already. It's halfway between anime and not anime, so. And I think what I was doing when I was drawing this comic was using really thick outlines and then going back in with a thinner line to sort of render out the details. So I think I'll try to emulate that. These are too big. The other thing, as I look at the old stuff, is I could tell I wasn't drawing things proportionally. Like if you flip Parsons' face, it doesn't look good. So yeah, I'm sorry about that, Earth fans. I wasn't as not paranoid, as fastidious. I don't know. I didn't flip as much as I do now, so I don't like that center line at all. Maybe move this up a little bit. There you go. Here's a here's a face. It's a face. Of course, that's not quite there. I think the face needs to be a little bit longer. Here we go. And so I usually, this is, here, I'll set the layers up properly. We'll have a BG folder. I like to keep things in folders because within those folders you can dump in as many layers as you want. So I'll have a sketch folder, and this is my underlayer for all the other stuff, and then I'll have a character layer, a character folder, and I'll put the sketch folder inside of that. Okay, it's now time to clean all this up because this is terrible. So, whoops. And we'll turn this layer down even more. There we go. Oops, it came back. And la da 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 da. There's that eyebrow shape. Smarmy, 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 smarm. Alright, let's see how this looks. Flippadoo, flipperdoo. Not bad, not bad. I just gotta make sure the eyes are looking in the same spot. They're just kind of like, oh. Whoops. There we go. I want to bring down this lid a little bit. Make sure the lids are lined up. Okay, so I'm drawing the nose a little bit more three-dimensionally, just trying to block it out a little bit more in my head so that the lines look right to me. It's not going to look like this when I actually ink it, but I want to kind of get close to the nose profile here with the nostrils and stuff. Noses are hard. I should come up with a consistent way to draw noses, but I am not a good artist, so there we go. Let's see, and then this ear. Kind of a simplified cartoony ear. Whoops, that ear is too big, so the ear should line up approximately with the eye and the nose. So the way I had it was entirely too large, so you don't want to do that. Got some of this hair curly stuff going on in here. Gotta try to emulate that. move all of this down just slightly and to give it a little bit more to give it a little bit more headroom, so to speak. Let's see from the other side. That is a pretty epic beard, my friend. Get these to line up a little bit better. So he's looking at you, the viewer, and punch back that a little bit. That is a pretty awesome beard. Okay, I'm gonna shrink it just a smidgeroony. Okay, and now glasses. I'll just kind of tack these in and then do them for real when I ink it. Fix the hairline a little bit. What's going on here? And I hope this looks like him. I'm so bad at this. Fictional characters that I just make up, I'm good at. Real people, I am terrible at. Which is funny because like I've done corporate comics for various publishers and various businesses, and part of that is drawing people to look like people, and I don't think I'm very good at it, but they keep coming back and asking for more, so I guess I must be better than I think I am. But honestly, I'm not very good at drawing real people. Alright, so it is time to inky stinky. So inks. And for this, I'll turn it full screen. Just nudge this up a little bit. Okay, so back here. And Belgian comic brush. Let's see. I don't remember how I used to start these when I was drawing Earth. Screw it. I'll start with the nose like I always do. So. Nope, that sucked. Slow and smarmy wins the race. Okay, let's try that nostril again. That's a better schnostril. Drawing some proper eyebrows. I hope this is an appropriate amount of smarm in this caricature. I don't know this person personally, so but they said they liked the smirk look that Parson gave in one of the panels, so I'm going for the super smarm. A little bit under eye because everybody has a couple bags, and then we go for the thickerish outline. Meh. Oh, I'm no longer looking at the references for this part because I have the impression that I want to give, and I don't want to get too beholden to the reference. So for the ink and the coloring, I'm gonna, well, the coloring I might switch back because I think there's some colors I want to swatch, but for the inking process, I'm going to go on the feel that I get from what I'm doing, instead of trying to be as accurate as possible. So if that makes sense. I haven't read Earthworld in a while, so I don't know what's going on, but if Parson does, if it's still going on, Parson should have an epic beard by now, because why not? He's been in Earthworld for a while now, so I feel like epic beard time should happen. And we got some epic beardness going on here, man. Always good to check something from far away, see how it looks, and because we have Photoshop, we can zoom out as long as we want. Super tiny, super big. Oh, thank you. Ragan Sharon says, I know I said I'd be silent, but I'm loving it so far. Oh, that's great. That makes me feel good because I really suck at portraiture or caricature. Can you Can you phonetically tell me how to Rajin? Ragin? Is that it? Ragin? Yeah, I'm gonna fuck up your name. I'm really sorry. Ragin like Cajun. Okay, I'm gonna assume it's Ragin like Cajun. Okay, awesome, nice, great. I know you know what I know you know what your name sounds like, but I don't. So thank you very much for that. So hopefully this will work out. This is the first profile thing I've been asked to do. I didn't know people usually commission that, so that's pretty cool. If this turns out, who knows? Maybe I'll have a side business drawing people's profile pics if they want fucked up monsters, or you know. I also got to figure out what the Twitch's not safe for work policy is, because I have a couple of I have a 3D sculpt that I'm working on that is not safe for work, so I don't know. Someone will have to tell me what Twitch's policy is on that, or I'll find out. Oh, Ragin says it's pretty restrictive, so probably not then. Probably just keep that to myself, and if anyone wants to see naughty, weird shit, maybe start a different stream, or I don't know. More beard. When in doubt, always more beard. Facial hair is a big deal for people who play Destiny, because we can't get facial hair in Destiny. The character creator did not allow for it. So one of the things that people are hoping for in Destiny 2 is that we can get facial hair. And yeah, I am looking forward to the stream tomorrow and all the updates and stuff, because I'm a huge Destiny nerd, mostly because of my brother. So I'm trying to being relatable to video gaming. Alright, sometimes my pencils are not as helpful as I need them to be, so I'll go back to the pencil layer and draw in some better guidelines for what I'm doing. The pencils are essentially a roadmap for the inks, and for the most part I like to keep my roadmap pretty loose so I can do a lot of interpretation on the inking stage, but sometimes I like to tighten up those shapes before I go back and render them out with ink. So hopefully that makes sense. It's all relative because it's digital, so I can unfuck things if I need to. Oops. Always make sure you're inking on the right layer. There you go. So I'm working at, what is this, 2048 by 2048. So I think that should be a high enough resolution that you can downsize this to whatever usage you need. If you wanted to make stickers, I guess it's high enough so you can order self some stickers of your face, if you are so inclined. I am not sure what resolution people usually do these at, so I figured I'd go as high as possible. My Twitter profile is a drawing Yuko did of me in Lucky Penny. So it doesn't look anything like me, but I love it, so and my Facebook profile, well, my Facebook profile is a photo. My YouTube profile is another just random image that I made. So I have no idea what resolution you need these to be. Hopefully this is enough. Okay, let's see. There needs to be hair on the back. Back end. Here, there. Here, there, and everywhere. Okay, and some neck action. Whoops. Bam. Whoops. Bam. And some... Whoa, that was terrible. Some collar action. Flip. If you don't use sound effects when you're inking, you're not doing it right. Okay, so what I like to do when it comes time for oops, there we go. What I like to do when it comes time for accessories is to ink them on a separate layer, but I also like to be a little bit more specific with my roadmap. So I'm going back to the glasses layer and trying to map these out a little bit more accurately so I can draw them a little bit more accurately as well. Should turn down the ink layer just a little bit. I like to draw through the figure when I do accessories, so it looks like the actual object instead of, you know, I'm gonna draw a line here and stop and then draw the rest of it there, so it kind of looks freaky like that. So I suppose I should zoom in and see what type of glasses Raijin has. There we go. That's a little cool. Got that little out frame and then pulled that back. And then this frame out here. I think I'm gonna render these all in black, the frames in black, because it's gonna be like a small profile pic. So I think it'll read nicer if they're solid color. Oh, cool. Raijin says his current ones are black anyway, so that's awesome. I strive for show accuracy, as they say. And then these are a little thinner. Glasses line. Glasses line. Oh, I didn't turn on my funky, my little dude. There we go. Glasses line. Trim that up a little bit. Stick that behind the ear. Put in a little separation. Classy. Okay. Good enough for government work. Now, Region also said something about a version with the party hat on top. So I'm just gonna sneak in a party hat here. And that's gonna be another layer. We're gonna make that another folder. We're gonna call this party hat. And put the inks in there. Make sure this party hat is proper triangle. Come on. Can't flub it even if it's just a little cute add-on. Can't cheat it here, guys. Okay. I don't know if anyone else does this, but sometimes if I'm drawing like a straight line, I hold my breath. It doesn't really help, but I noticed my daughter does that too. She's 3, so maybe it's like a genetic thing. Okay, so party hat's done, sketch is done, inks are done. Looks pretty good. Alright, so what we're gonna do now is create a layer underneath the inks. We're gonna call it flats. And then we're going to grab a bright ass color like this red, and we're going to color this jam in. So there are a couple of different ways to flat. I like to do things by hand just because in a situation like this, it makes it go a lot faster when it's just like a single figure. If it's a little bit more complex, sometimes I'll use an auto flatting plugin. But honestly, like flatting by hand, for the most part, works really well. So I hope you enjoy seeing how the sausage is made. So we got that. Might as well flat the party hat too. Call this flats. And we'll use a ugly green or some shit. There we go. Okay, so we lock that layer. We also have a background layer. I think I'm just gonna do like a simple gray. Well, let's see, what do we want to do here for the background? Maybe like a bluish. Yeah, maybe like a bluish. Are you bluish? You don't look bluish. That's for all the 1 people who have seen Yellow Submarine. And we've got these weird concept brushes. Let's see. Where's the spatter? Where is that stupid thing? This is what happens when you have too many brushes. Is this the one I want? That's pretty cool. It's got like a little wood thing going on. It says classy. It's not the one I was looking for, but I think that'll work actually. Let's see what else we got. Hachi. Oh, that's nice. I like that. Okay, we'll use that. Smarmy-kun. Okay. So now that we got the character separated from the background, we can go and refine these lines. Oh, I'm missing some stuff here. There's a... well, do I clean that up now? Yeah, here. And we'll get back to our regular inking brush and add in the hair here and some things there. Okay, so a couple ways to approach the rest of this. I kind of like to separate the flesh tones first, so so I could use a lasso, but I have all these unfinished areas for the hairs. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'll use the pencil tool, and this is so if I need to change colors I won't get a halo around the selection, but it'll look pixelated when I it'll look pixelated when I draw things, but when you zoom out you won't be able to tell. So, and since we have Raiden's face right here, this is a nice mid-tone. A neat way to grab flesh tones off an actual photo is to take a photo in a neutral light, which is this lower left one, I would say, and let's grab that. Let's make a new thing, paste that in here, blow it up just a little bit, and then what you want to do is go to your filter and Gaussian blur till you get these nice swaths of color. Another way to do it is if you go to the posterize filter, which is where did you go? Pixelate, sharpen, stylize, find edges. Is this the one I want? That's not the one I want. I want the poster filter. Pixelate. There used to be find edges, diffuse, video, other, noise. Oh my god, you guys. I don't know how to use Photoshop anymore. So let's see. Facet works too. Anything that turns things, let's see. Mosaic, let's see what mosaic does. Nope, not mezzotint, you jerk off. Noise. Mosaic, there we go. Alright, so we can turn it into a mosaic, his face into a mosaic, and just go up in the pixels to see, you get these big swatches of color. So you can swatch any of them for, like, this one's a nice mid-range, so this is like the base flesh tone. If you're doing like a painterly painting, you can swatch over here for like the red and the cheeks and the nose and all that kind of stuff. Or if the photo is pretty neutral in the light, you could just grab that facial tone anyway. Alright, that's enough of that. Okay, so A lot of times I just like to trace out an area, make sure it's closed, and then fill it. And then I make sure that I have the base color down here in case I overshoot things, so I can refill it. And then just go in and paint in the borders. That's all flatting really is. It's separating sections of the piece by color. It's coloring in the lines. Flatting is a fancy term for coloring in the lines. You could get a job flatting. Not a good one, but you can get paid. Professional colorists sometimes don't enjoy this process, so they'll hire a flatter to come in and do all this for them, and it makes their lives easier. They can spend most of their time rendering. And I guess if you're a beginning colorist, getting work as a flatter will only improve your coloring work, because the better you are at flatting, the faster you can flat a page, the quicker you can get to the rendering part. And if you practice doing it for a while, when it comes time for you to color your own work, because you're sick of flatting other people's stuff, you'll be wicked fast. You'll have your method down, and you can just crank out page after page after page and go whole hog. So, if you want to break into the industry as a colorist, spend some time as a flatter. Pay as shit, but it's a good foot in the door. Alright, I really like this yellow shirt that Raijin has here, so I'm going to use that for this. Bam. And I'm going to make that yellow a little bit more bright, because this is digital. And I like the fact that the color is a little bit brownish, so I'm going to swipe that color. And I'm going to pop that in here. Bam! And I'm going to clean this up, clean that up, clean this up. Alright, so I'm going to go back over to the mosaic version of his face, because hair is always tricky. And I'm going to grab this brown, and then I'm going to take a look at it and make it a little bit more light, and then bam! Nice! Gonna stare into Raijin's eyes, which are kind of a brownish. And I'm gonna grab I don't like to use white when I work. When I color, so I usually put a little green tint in there, just for a little bit of extra oomph. You won't be able to tell because it's against a different color, but gives it a little bit more life than just a straight white color. And then drop in the eye color. Alright, so there we go. We have the basic shades. Now for the fun stuff. Create a new layer, set that to create clipping mask. So this means that anything that I paint onto this layer will not go outside the lines of the bottom layer. So let's demonstrate for a while. I'm going to turn off the inks So I have this red color, and because I have clipping mask on, it's locked to the layer below. If I turn clipping mask off, you can see I painted all the way outside the lines. So turn clipping mask back on, select everything, delete that, and I'm going to set this to multiply. This is my shadow layer. And I like to shadow with a purple color. And I'm just gonna go in, and so the light in this situation, I will say, is pointing straight down. So whoop, whoop. Well, man, that's not very interesting. How about the light is pointing in this direction? So that is the manner in which I will shade it. So I'm going to leave this arrow, this sunlight up here, just as a visual reference to see the direction that I'm choosing to shade things. And then I'm going to get back my purple color, and I'm going to start to shade things. So and I usually start off with a pretty dark purple, just so I can see what I'm doing. I don't always stick with it. Like I might lighten it up, or I might pick a gradient or something afterwards to sort of tone the shadow a little bit, to give it a little bit more character. But for the initial lay-in of the shadows, I like to choose a relatively mid-ground to dark color, so I can see what I'm working with here. Oh, I forgot the glasses. This should be a little bit brighter here. Okay, and then we'll do the rest of the glasses with a screen layer. I'll get to that. Knock in the pupil as a shadow condition. Put in the shadow by the brow, because that's always cool looking, especially when you're doing the smarmy look. Do some of that in here. Do some of that in here. Yeah, there we go. We want to give the beard the full treatment. Got a color in this. Shadow the glasses. Chin. Some of this, some of that, some of this, some of that. Bet you're glad I did this now instead of when I was drawing Earthworld, because I draw a lot better now. At least I hope I draw better now. I've been working at it. Okay, so some more shadows in here. Some more shadows in here. Some more shadows up in that piece. Oh, it's so much more dramatic this way. Do Alright, you get rid of that, and then we'll make another layer. We will call this linear dodge. Dodge. Oh, thank you. Ragin says, I loved the Earth style. And thank you for that. Looking back, you can always see the flaws in your work and stuff. And pulling out those reference images, I could see that like Parsons' eye would be just a scotch higher on one side than the other side. Because I wasn't flipping my work back then as I do now. So, but thank you for that. So this is like the weird anime style hair light that doesn't exist in real life. And I'll use some backlight on the end, the strands of hair, just to get some separation from the background a little bit. Put in some of that. Put in some of that. Put in some of that. Not sure if this will work or not. Well, here, I'll get to that point in just a second. A little bit of a nose, a little bit of a nose, a little bit of an eye glint. Glint in the eye, and then some underlight in the eye, and I don't know if I want to do this or not. Well, let's see. All right, we'll pop out this just a little bit, give that some separation from the background, and on this side, ooh, that's way too bright, so we'll do it that way, and then pop that out that way. Even the collar, will give it a little bit of a touch. That won't show up in the far version, but when you get a little bit closer, then you can see it. Now, how to deal with the glasses. I think I'm gonna create another layer, and we'll just experiment. So we'll paint in some blue here, and we'll paint in some more blue here. And we'll paint in some more blue. And we'll paint in some more blue. And we'll set that bitch to screen. And I don't necessarily hate that. Maybe I'll tone it down a little bit. Maybe I'll cheat and I'll use white. Nope, that looks terrible. Okay, we'll leave it at that. Let's try dodge, maybe? Dodge works. Screen? No, I'll use screen. Okay. Okay, now normally I would go back into the purple and maybe mess with it, modify it a little bit, but I kind of like the way it looks here. So I'm going to re-grab that purple here, re-swab it, set that to multiply, and then for the party hat, now that the party hat is on, I'm going to create a party hat multiply. So this is the shadow of the party hat when it is on, when that layer is on. And above the party hat, I'm going to create two layers, set them to clipping mask. The first one is going to be multiply, the second one, whoops, the second one is going to be color dodge. Excuse me. Pollen sucks, man. And we're gonna put that in here. Oh, what color should the hat be? What color should the hat be? Maybe like a goofy purple, maybe. And then we'll make a yellow highlight just for shits and giggles. Yeah, maybe purple. There you go. Me. Whoops. Eeps. Okay, can work with that. All right, so we got with hat, without hat, 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 with hat, without hat. All right, I think that's gonna do it for the Raijin headshot. It's pretty good. That's like 45 minutes, an hour. It's a lot faster than I thought it would be. Cool. All right, so I'm gonna save this out later and send it to you after I'm done streaming. So I'm still gonna be working on other stuff, but there you see how the sausage is made. Here's a nice little what do we call these? Profile photo, profile image. All right, cool. So I'm gonna close my references. Don't need to save that. Don't need to save that. And this is already saved. So. All right, thanks for checking in, Raijin. Thanks for the project. It's fun to break out of what I normally do. So now we're all warmed up. Time to get to inking. Yasuke. And if you tuned in the last stream, you saw how I utterly failed at drawing this frame here and designing for Mrs. Yasuke. So I spent some time and I designed her finally. So that's what she looks like now. And that is clearly not Mrs. Mrs. Nobunaga. Did I say Mrs. Yasuke? I meant Mrs. Nobunaga, or Lady Nobunaga. And then here's this view of the priest who's going to be working with Yasuke. So this was a pain in the butt to do. I'm still not sure if that looks right, but I'll see when I start inking that stuff in. And then we have this basic scene here with more people dying, because remember, Nobunaga's nuts. So I think I'll do this one. I'll start here and hopefully get the rest of these inked and ready to do other stuff. Okay. So back to my Belgian inker brush. Turn off the, I think I'll just turn off the blue stuff. And remember, this is, oh, I need to, where's my references for how I've been drawing these things? There we go. Noses are hard, man. I don't know why I always start with them when I ink, but I tend to start with the nose and the eyes. And again, apologize for sniffling, but today was a rather awful day for pollen, so I am stuffed to the nose. I don't know what the policy is on streaming while you have allergies, but I'm trying to build something here. Okay. Whew. Oh, also, probably most people are watching all the E3 stuff. So I can't really expect to grow a channel in the middle of one of the biggest video game conferences. So you could say my timing is terrible. So I'm trying to keep with a looser style. I'm not terribly precious with the lines that I'm drawing. At least I'm trying not to be. I do want to keep things proportional, but like, you know, sometimes perfection is the enemy of execution. And I'm trying not to let that be the case here, because getting the book done is more important than not getting the book done. So things that would normally frustrate me, like how open the hair parts are and how loose things are, I'm just trying to just go with the flow. Like, my normal inking style is very fussy, very clean and very precise, and you know, I'm trying to break out of that. As you can see from the headshot, that's very precise and fussy and very clean and very deliberate, and this is kind of here's a line. So, and even with me trying to be loose, it still ends up looking kind of fussy. So what the fuck do I know? It's a far away shot where everybody looks really teeny tiny. I spent a lot of time when I was refining the pencils to try to get this stuff in proportion. When I draw things far away, teeny tiny, my proportions tend to get a little bit elongated. So like, legs look longer than they should, arms look longer than they should, and it becomes like a Slender Man situation. So I tried to rein in that tendency here, and you know, I don't know if I did it, but I tried, man. I tried. Oh, and Yasuke's back is all fucked up. I forgot about that. Because he's a slave, and he's been beaten. So this is the Pentel Pocket Brush, or the digital version of the Pentel Pocket Brush. I love it. I swear by it. I wish they would figure out a way to put the technology in the Pentel Pocket Brushes into a Wacom stylus, because that would be fucking phenomenal, man. Like, I know the new versions of the pen have like 8,000 points of pressure or whatever, but like if I could take a brush that had a forever tip and then like paint on the screen, that'd be fucking amazing. That would be fantastic. I would love that. So, I'm gonna hop away just a sec. I gotta blow my nose. Thankfully, I have a mute button on my microphone. Haha. Alright, so Yasuke's fucked up back. I tell you, man, looking up references for some of this stuff is pretty harsh. I try to stay positive most times, but like sometimes man's inhumanity to man is fucking terrifying. It's a wonder that Nobunaga treated Yasuke with so much respect and dignity, at least in our version of the tale. Who knows what historically happened? But our version, Nobunaga, is pretty respectful. I guess technically his arms should be tied up, but yeah, fuck it. You and I know will know it's a flub. Hopefully people will just be like, oh my god, this is the Yasuke book. I can't believe it came out. And this is the good priest that we are following. He's our narrator. He is, I forgot his name. I don't remember. I just remember what he looks like because I'm drawing him. And if you're wondering why the backgrounds look so sparse, it's because I am going to be painting the backgrounds digitally. So spending time inking the characters first, and then I'm going to go back and paint the backgrounds, and then finishing up by coloring the characters with the cell shading, similar to the way I did Raijin's profile photo or profile pic. So that's the plan. Also, I'm not so great at backgrounds, so I can get away with a lot more cheating when I paint them than if I straight up ink them. So I probably should have taken a couple of architecture courses or architectural drawing courses, so I'd have a better handle on that. But I don't know. I went to school as a history major, but then junior year I decided I wanted to do art studio, and so I didn't really have a. I wanted to do design. So I wasn't so much into illustration, so I never took like some of the foundational illustration courses. So drawing buildings is not something I know how to do very well. I mean, I know how to draw a box, and I can draw multiple boxes and stack them on top of each other, but that's not the same as a building, you know? So I think if I was to go back to college again, there would be some foundational things that I would probably try to take, like how to draw a fucking building. Or what else would I do? Mostly I would spend like half of my time in business classes, because as an artist, you're taught how to use the materials and how to render things and how to execute and do the work, but you're not taught how to charge a client, or you know, how to get a client. And I guess they expect that whatever gallery you're working with is gonna figure that shit out, but that's never the case, you know. As an artist, you are also an entrepreneur, and they don't teach you that in art school straight up. You know, I feel like business courses should be required, but they weren't, at least not in my school. So maybe they fixed that and made that a requirement. I hope so, because I feel like some people are in for a rude awakening. That nose is way too long. When they graduate. And there's so many great artists out there that just haven't figured out how to get people to buy their stuff, and it sometimes makes me sad. Then I look at my stuff and I'm like, oh, I haven't figured it out either. And then it makes me sad twice. So business classes and some foundational bullshit like drawing plants, and drawing buildings, and drawing cars. Had a lot of figure drawing. Oh, I would also take an anatomy class. I got references and books, and you know, but it just takes repetition, I guess. So I would take an anatomy class, how to draw buildings class. I guess there's nothing really stopping me from doing that now, except the time that I'm in class is time that I need to be drawing, or making something for a drawing, you know? School is great when you're there, but when you're out of it and you have to actually do something with this stuff, you can't really go back and learn. So there are holes in my art education, and that's what I get for starting off as a junior. Didn't realize it, but the monk also has sort of a pointy beard, like the way I've drawn Nobunaga, except not as demonic, I think. That's totally by accident. And so far Koji hasn't told me to fix it, so I think he's okay with it. Okay, so beads. I'm not drawing in the line that connects the beads because I haven't quite figured out how dark I want to make the priest's robes. In all the reference photos I've gathered for him, the priest's robes are always really black, like dark black. So I haven't figured out how I exactly want to render his robes. But I'll work that out as I go along. Half of drawing comics is settling on a style. I guess it's easy for some people because they only work in one style, but I don't know, my artwork drifts here and there. So I mean, people still recognize that I'm the one who did it, so I guess I must have some inherent style. But for the life of me, I can't figure that shit out, you know? Some people are very good at intuiting the things that they're known for. Like, I have a friend whose artwork is very stylistic and very drippy. He's really good with drips and glops and things like that. And so, like, he knows exactly where his style rests and the things that he can lean on when he gets stuck. Like, I just draw. Like, I wish I knew what my hallmarks were. Then maybe I could capitalize on that and figure out how to sell my shit. So I'd really like to figure out this music thing because I don't really have a lot to say. I mean, I'm forcing myself to talk when I draw, which is sort of distracting because your brain is only good at doing one thing at a time, and I I need all my brain muscles for drawing anyway, so spending some of them to talk is kind of screwy. So I'd like to figure out how to get music on this thing that won't incur a copyright strike, because the problem is, like, I want people to be able to watch this later and see if they can learn something from these streams. Because I don't have a lot of time to do like edited video tutorials anymore, so I think most of my artworks lessons are going to be through these streams, and anytime there's like a copyright strike on Twitch, they just mute that part of the audio. But what if I'm saying something really insightful or explaining part of a process that's, you know, that somebody wants to know about? So same thing when I upload this stuff to YouTube. Like, sometimes the copyright strikes will mute the audio in certain portions, and that's not cool. So I don't know, I guess I gotta work with a band or bands or find a station that is pod safe or stream safe for everybody. Because I realize drawing is not like playing a video, like watching somebody play a video game. This is like, this could be sometimes like watching paint dry. I don't know how we do it in Art Fight. I mean, I guess drawing random pop culture references helps, but if I'm like working, Might be cool to have some tunes in the background, so I don't have to fill dead air with random jibba jabba. Jibba jibber. So here I go, drawing things twice. Or 3 times. First I do my thumbnails, then I do my pencils, and then I ink over all that stuff. So it's drawing everything 3 times. If there was a way to save time on that, I would try it. But like, I can draw things directly to ink. I practically have a hobby that's dedicated to that. Like, art fight, that's all art fight is. But the problem is when you want to draw something that's proportional and is intentional, you kind of need a little bit more, a more deliberate hand in it. Not all of us can be like that Kim Jong-ji guy. There's a Korean artist who just uses a brush pen and does these elaborate murals that look fantastic, and no penciling, no preparation. He doesn't even do that thing where like you ghost a line in the air before you actually put it down. He just goes pen to paper, and it's absolutely phenomenal. I wonder if you can train your brain to do that, because if I could do that with comics, man, that would be great. But I love his work. It's some of his murals are very whimsical. Like, there are these elaborate scenes that take place in these sprawling marketplaces, and when you watch him construct it, it's just like, how does he do that? That's fucking insane. And it looks like, you know, when you step back and you see everything, it all connects together, like it was pre-planned. And I don't know how he's able to do that. I'm guessing it's just practice. But to have the, I guess, the muscle memory to directly connect what's in here to out there, that's fantastic. And I wish I had that kind of intentional line. You know, you probably could figure out how to do it. Like, if I truly believe that there's no such thing as talent, then I have to believe that anybody can figure out how to draw like that. It just has to take the right type of practice. So maybe I'll figure that out someday. But yeah, the difference between him and me is that he has a bajillion hours drawing in that way, whereas I don't do that. So, like, art fight is very spontaneous and on the fly, and honestly not very artful. Like we put on a show, and that's what it is. It's a show. It's not meant to communicate anything much more deeply. It's to have a good time, and our vehicle is drawing crazy things on stage and acting like idiots, and we're very good at that. That's something we're very good at. But like, you know, I wonder if there's a way to translate that spontaneous drawing into something more structural, if that makes any sense. I'm just rambling. This ear needs to be a little bit higher. Higher, higher, higher. Okay, so I hate drawing chains, which is unfortunate because every time we depict Yasuke, he's chained up. So I think I'm going to fudge it a little bit here because it's a mid-size shot. We're not terribly up in his face, so I'm gonna start a new layer and just kind of dab it in. And whoops, put that there, do that there. Okay. And some Yasuke nipple right here. Scandala. Muscles on muscles for Yasuke. He's so dreamy. So many muscles. Okay. Now we draw burning faces, and for this I'm going to use the pocket brush. I'm going to be at AwesomeCon this weekend for once in a very long time. I was at the first AwesomeCon, and then ever since that first one, I haven't been able to get back to it for whatever reason. There's always like a family thing going on. One year we just had Hazel, so it's been a while since I've been to AwesomeCon. I really enjoy it. It's DC. It's a great show. It's in DC. DC proper has been in want of a convention for a long time, and so when AwesomeCon hit the spot, it was perfect. Like, Baltimore, like, people in DC don't necessarily go out to Baltimore that much, even though Otacon's up there. Well, not this year. Otacon's down in DC this year, but like Otakon was up there, Baltimore Comic Con is up there, so there's a lot of conventions in Maryland, but DC proper hadn't had one until AwesomeCon came along, and I think it filled a much needed void for the city. Attendance has been growing and growing and growing and growing, so I've been really sad that I've missed it for the past couple years, so I'm really happy that I get a chance to go there this weekend. I'll be at the Super Art Fight booth selling comics, and I think I'll be doing commissions for people if anybody wants them. Some people, when they do commissions at cons, there's like a sliding price list, like this much for line art, this much for pencils, this much for inks, this much for pencils and color, this much for inks and color. I just set one price for everything, and use what I've got. I usually do it in limited color palette, since the Copic set that I have has a limited palette, so those are the colors I use for my commissions. So I think I don't have too much new stuff for the table this year, so I think I'm gonna try to lean a bit heavier on commissions than I have been at the past couple shows that I've done. So if you're watching this and you're in the DC area and you're heading to AwesomeCon the weekend, what the fuck is this weekend? Whatever this weekend is, come by, say hi. Love to chat about comics and drawing things, and I'll draw you a weird thing, or a cool thing if you want a cool thing, or a dumb thing if you want a dumb thing. Whatever you want. Does this look like his flesh is burning off enough? There's something wrong with me. So yes, AwesomeCon. Looking forward to it. The best part about being part of Art Fight, besides meeting cool people who enjoy nerdy shit, is getting the opportunity to travel to conventions and see things that you wouldn't that I would not normally get to see, which is kind of crazy about our show. It's just like, it shouldn't work, but it does somehow, and we've been doing it for, what is it, almost 10 years now? Jesus. So that's pretty cool. I have to channel my inner Junji Ito for this fucked up shit. Because Nobunaga's a crazy asshole. Nobunaga's a crazy butthead. Cha 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 cha. I think I like it without pupils. I think my intention was to draw in pupils, but I think I like this effect without the pupils. And I really like this brush. I'm probably going to talk about this brush every time I stream, but I really like this brush. It does a really great job of mimicking the actual version of the Pentel Pocket Brush, and it just has some great textures and stuff. So I'm very pleased. Kyle of Kyle Brush, you make some good shit. And of course, here's another person getting burned, because you can't just have one person being burned. You need to have multiple people being burned, because, well, you just gotta. See, it even mimics like the page bleed if you push down a little bit hard and just let it kind of bleed into the area, which is really pretty cool. Like I wouldn't expect digital anything to be able to mimic that feel, but this does a great job of doing it. And here we go, more smoke and burns, because fuck. Let's see what they look like without the pencils. That looks really fucked up. Thanks for nightmare fuel. That's great. Oops. There we go. Alright, well that's really fucked up. Okay. I need to some little more hairs. There we go. And turn on all that stuff. Okay. So I finished 16. What is this? This is 15. You see this weird lattice that I had to create for this particular scene? It was not good. I'm still not sure about the pose, but well, I'll just go with it. So we'll turn off this. Turn this down. And it's inkies. Inkies. Desio. So I was having trouble figuring out how to design these bandits who steal Yasuke as a young kid from his mother. But then I decided that I would just make them kind of like demons, because this is in Yasuke's memory, so he wouldn't necessarily see them as people. So, which gives me another chance to abuse the hell out of my favorite brush. Kind of looks like Ghost Rider. Ho ho ho, we got you, small child. We're going to eat you. So I'm trying to keep these hash marks at the same direction, just to kind of give it a pattern. It's just a stylistic thing that I'm trying out here. Hick, 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 hick. Give the legs a little bit more shadow towards the bottom. Because I don't want to draw the legs. I'm going to Liefeld it. Legs are for jerks. Nobody likes to draw the legs. That's interesting. It's kind of cool. I like that. Give it some hints of mysticism. Who knows? Young Yasuke might have thought that these were demons, so like maybe he relates the tale to the priest that like these demons took me away from my mother. Could be an interesting storytelling device. Freaky demons. Where are my... Where are my... There we go. Here are my clothing references. Oops. I want the Belgian brush. There we go. Okay. It's a little big. He's more like a teenager than a baby. Here, let's see if I can fix that a little bit. It's a little better. Maybe the flashback is rendered with sketchy lines in general. Could be an interesting look. Our memories are always kind of interpretations anyway. Baby Yasuke has no hair. Even though I drew him with hair initially, I think he looks a little bit more innocent without hair. This is gonna be a little intentionally rough, so there's contrast between the dream sequence and the current day. Little toes, so many little toes, little toes. Who likes the little toes? Who likes little toes? Holding my breath again. That's a dumb habit to get into. Okay, so let's see. Let's put some. Oops. Clothes, baggy clothes. I don't know what they sleep in. I'm just making this up. As long as it looks somewhat good. There you go. That works. time to clean up these hands a little bit. So she'll have sort of a slight hairline, but mostly bald. And the dad will have hair like Yasuke has now, because I just decided so. And it could be an interesting callback. I don't know. And he's got big muscles like Yasuke has, because muscles. Yeah. Hands, chest muscles, and other hand maybe, and bad posture. Yeah, speaking of, there we go. Okay. So in this scene, the mother is running away from their burning village. Apparently there's a lot of burning in this book. People getting burned. Houses getting burned. I'm gonna talk to Koji. Something wrong with you, Koji. You keep burning shit. And poor baby Yasuke screaming his head off. Oh, I can't get that thin a line, huh? Teeny tiny baby hands, oh no! So many toes, so many toes, so many toes, so many toes. Don't confuse me. What I should do is like get my friend Johnny to come over and just like jam in the background for 2 hours. And then we'll broadcast that. All original Johnny, just noodle around and then I can broadcast some shit instead of filling air with me just talking about nothing. Here she is reaching for Yasuke, baby Yasuke. She can't quite get him because he's being taken by the demons. By the way, I know that there's a Yasuke film in the works by like, I think it's Legendary Pictures or something like that. Whoever it is, they better get the director of that Black Panther movie, because holy shit, that teaser trailer looks amazing. So much energy, and I think a Yasuke film would deserve that kind of treatment. So I hope Legendary is paying attention and they tap that crew to just steal him from Marvel and make that Yasuke film. It's like, how about a real person instead of this fictional character? Okay, sometimes I gotta make the brush smaller. That's the solution. Dur. What is the size normally? The size is normally 45. Okay, Jesus. Okay. Mommy, mommy. Oh God. Can hear Hazel screaming. Mommy. Anytime there's a small child in a movie now, I'm instantly wrecked. Just like, oh my God, don't hurt the baby. What anybody think about the baby? All the toes. All the toes. And then regular Yasuke out of the dream, but I'm still gonna draw some fucked up shit on his back. Okay. And there we go, to build it on common brush. I wonder if they had sleep apnea back then. I wonder if Yasuke has sleep apnea. Because I fucking do. I mean, he was a healthy guy, so I guess not. But I don't know. I wonder if they had sleep apnea back in those days. This is the 16th century. Sengoku period. I wonder if Nobunaga had sleep apnea. Well, what did Nobunaga have to be stressed about? Trying to unify Japan. And also being crazy. Because that motherfucker was crazy. And also his wrists are fucked up. Here we go. Whoops. Whoops. Nope. Here we go. Yep. going on, man? Steven Hadouken. Hey, dude, what's going on? Oh, thanks. I'm probably gonna shave it off after this weekend and then grow it right in the middle so I could do the mohawk and then flap it over to one side or the other. So I am working on a comic. It's Yasuke issue 1, I think. I don't know how many issues we're doing, but it's a historical fiction comic about the first black samurai. So, currently working out of order. So I've got a bunch of different pages, pencils and inks. Yeah, there's gonna be I think it's Legendary Pictures is gonna do a movie about Yasuke. But so far all I've heard is the announcement that they made, so no details on who's being cast or anything like that. So right now I'm just inking my very loose pencils, and here we go. Yeah. Well, there may have been. The Japanese did use a lot of Chinese technology. I don't know enough about my history about that. I'm half Chinese, half Japanese, so. Sometimes a foot looks like a foot, and sometimes a foot looks like a piece of shit. Let's see here. Yeah, it's a very unusual combination for understandable historical reasons. In fact, when my dad asked his, my mom's dad for her hand in marriage, he first said no. It was really tough. Yeah. One day the world will all get along, but it is not that day. Toes, toes, everybody likes the toes. Nobody likes strong toes, what I'm saying. So if you can tell, I like to hop around when I ink. Like I got stuff down in the bottom, stuff in the top, stuff all over. It's just so I don't get too, what is the word, focused on one particular area. It's easy to get bogged down in the details and lose sight of the whole picture. So I like to kind of move things around. I hope it's not too visually disconcerting for anybody watching. Yeah, it's just a thing I got in the habit of doing. Keeps your eyes fresh so you don't get lost in detailed sections and forget that you have the rest of the page to draw. Alright, well, I'll try to not go too fast. Sorry about that. Oh, my shaved hairstyle? Uh, I think well, I've had long hair for the longest time since I graduated college many, many years ago, and I just wanted to change, and nobody was awake to tell me no. So I used to have like undercuts here with long hair, and you couldn't really tell that I had an undercut, so I just went a little bit more extreme and just down the center. And I don't know, I kind of liked it. And then people started saying that I kind of looked like Shinsuke Nakamura from the WWE, or at the time he was, I think he was still NXT at the time. Yeah, did it all myself. I'm too old to care about what people think about my hair, so that's kind of why I did it. And whoop. The funny thing is, because I do it myself, like the more I shave off here, it keeps, the center line keeps creeping over to the left. So I think this weekend I'm gonna shave it all off and then start with a mohawk and then grow it out again so I could flop it over. But we'll see. That's a good idea, yeah. Well, I've just started, so yeah, maybe I'll do that. Here goes all of my hair. So This is the last frame of this particular page that I'm going to be inking. Backgrounds I'm saving for later. So once I ink all the characters for all the pages, I'm going to go back and digitally paint the backgrounds, just because digital painting is a little bit more forgiving, and I'm not very good at drawing architecture, so I can cheat more when I'm doing the painting stuff. That's the plan, at least. I kind of did. I went to school for art studio. At the time, there was no digital program, so well, that's not true. There was a digital program, but they were just focused mainly on Photoshop collage stuff. So people hadn't quite figured out how to use it for coloring comics and making comics and stuff like that. So most of what I know now with all this digital stuff is all self-taught. So lots of trial and error, lots of fucking up, lots of trying things and ultimately failing, and then trying other things and failing again. So it's a lot of practice. Oh, nice. What made you stop? I think I could have used some business classes. They teach you about how to draw and how to use various materials and all that kind of stuff, and a lot of execution, and absolutely nothing about how to sell any of this stuff. Oh, I'm sad you stopped. Art's a lot of fun, and I feel like, at least with, you know, the YouTube community and the Twitch community, there are a lot of people who are willing to help each other out and get ahead. At least that's my sense. Nice. Good old swaparoo to make sure the mirror image looks okay, because everything is punched. I am mostly a Marvel fan. I haven't read Marvel comics in a while, though. Most of what I've been collecting is on the regular is Saga by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples, which is out, which is Image. So that's the only one that I collect on the regular. I love the Marvel movies because I'm a big nerd. But if if DC can figure out how to capture the magic that they had with Wonder Woman and apply that to all their other movies, I think that'll be great. I mean, I do read some manga, but like a lot of old stuff, like Blade of the Immortal and uh, the Akira stuff. What is the latest manga I've picked up? Yeah, it's mostly Blade of the Immortal. Um, it ended, so you know I can't collect it anymore. But oh, Venom is cool. I think they're doing a Venom movie. I think Sony's doing a Venom movie. Yeah. That was not the best portrayal of Venom. I think they tried to shoehorn too many villains into the same movie, and Venom got the short end of the stick. Favorite Marvel movie? Let's see. I really liked Winter Soldier, because I'm kind of I'm really big into like noir spy movies and spy fiction and that kind of stuff. And that one had the perfect combination of all the things I like, superhero things and spies and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. I highly recommend it if you like spy stuff. And if you want to see Scarlett Johansson used well. What's your favorite Marvel movie? Yeah, man. She was actually really good in Winter Soldier. Spider-Man 1 was fun. That kind of kicked off this whole... Well, I guess the first X-Men film kind of kicked off this new generation of Marvel or of comic book films, but Spider-Man was really good. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, I think it was a good I think it was a good introduction for Robert Downey as Tony. Um, but I think the villain angle was pretty bad, which is kind of symptomatic of a lot of the Marvel movies. The villains are really eh. They get everything else right except for the villains. This is out of proportion, but I think it works for the scene. And I need to move this belt up because I suck. Okay, here we go. Yeah, man, like the villains can make or break the movie, I think. That's why I didn't like Iron Man 2 that much. Whoops. Oh, yeah. This is kind of a depressing scene. Yasuke is being transferred from captivity to another person's captivity, so it's pretty dark. This is not a happy book. Earlier in the stream, there was a panel of people getting burned up. That's why indie comics are great. We can get away with like horrifying shit. Zoom out. Oh, thanks for stopping by. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what my schedule is. Oh, nice. Well, yeah, thanks for checking it out. And, yeah. Someday I'll figure out what schedule I'm going to be on. But definitely Mondays. Okay, I think that's gonna do it for me as well. Thanks for tuning in, and someday I will figure out a proper schedule. La da 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 da.